I don't know that a lot of people know the dangers of what they put into their body. And I think until we can get a hold of truth and help educate and inform people with the choices that they can make, they can't do better. And we have been conditioned to live in this society where counting calories is better than reading ingredients. And I don't agree with that. I kind of feel like that's all a bunch of bull, honestly. And we're so fixated on, well, how many calories is it? But where are those calories coming from? What you're putting into your body, is it synthetic or was it a real food? What's up, you guys? Today's Saturday, so you know it's gardening chores day. It's been raining this morning and I went and played some pickleball, so I'm getting a little bit of a late start, but look at these mammoth plants behind me. So I'm in zone 7B. Many of these are tomatoes and peppers, and they can't go out until the risk of the last frost has passed. So the anticipated last frost date that I'm using is April 15th. And I've got a ways to go. So I've got a lot of stuff here that needs to be repotted. I have some cucumber and green bean seedlings here that I started that I was going to sell, actually am going to sell, that need to be repotted. And also some peppers that need to be repotted. So yeah, I just thought I would bring you along and show you what we got going on today. So it's the time of year where we get really antsy. As the weather starts to warm up, you want to put everything outside. I know at least I do. And it's just too soon. One of the things that I'm going to do today, and I'm actually not sure if what I have done is going to work, but I took some pre-orders for some green bean and cucumber seedlings. These are actually things that I would normally direct sow in my garden because they do better that way. But I've also seen seedlings for sale in stores, so I thought I would give it a shot. So these beans were planted on March 17th. So that was just 2 weeks ago. And look how tall they are. I don't know if these would be considered leggy or not. I guess it would be. So my hunch is that if the person planted these deep enough, they'd be fine. So my goal today was to repot these into some solo cups just to give these roots some more room. And I've put some questions out in a Facebook group that I'm in to ask some gardeners that are more experienced than I. If you know you're more experienced than me, please tell me, are these worth selling or planting, even if I keep them and plant them for myself and don't sell them? Or should I start over? Because I thought maybe I could start over. Since they germinated so fast, green beans can't go out until the risk of frost has passed. And the temperature is due to drop to 36 in a week. And so that's kind of cutting it close. So I figure it's too soon to put these out. The cucumbers, on the other hand, the cucumbers are not quite as tall, so I do think these are going to be fine and are plantable. I am still going to go ahead and repot them. But yeah, if you have any comments, feedback, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Tell me what you think. Should I start over with these, or can I plant these in the ground and sell them to other people? So one of the other things we have going on today, I am going to be putting a flower bed perimeter around the fence on our gardens. And I was trying to think of an inexpensive way to create a bed to contain the soil, just to prevent runoff and make it easier when we mow. I've been saving cardboard, got some soil that I'm gonna put out, and I thought bricks would be good to create a perimeter. So I am so thankful that I found a lot of free bricks from people that I know in the area that have given those to me. I picked up about 100 this past week, and my husband is gonna go pick up about 300 today while I stay here and work on these seedlings. And hopefully tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up and get started on making those beds out in the garden. Some of these flowers transplanted really soon that I have started from seed. The reason we have the fence around our garden, in case you've missed that in a former video, is for protection from deer. We live on about 9 acres and we do have a lot of deer that come really close to our home and definitely get in my garden. My garden is about an acre away from the house, so the deer most definitely hang out up there. The flowers I chose are deer resistant. That doesn't mean that they won't mess with them, but it seems unlikely that they will. So I'm hopeful that it's not going to be too much of a risk to plant those outside of the fence. Things like marigolds will go inside near my tomatoes for sure, but everything else will go outside the fence. And I'm doing apricot straw flower, strawberry gomphrena, borage, luminosa zinnia. Drawing a blank on the rest right now. Hey.
I gotta go put gas in the truck.
Okay.
You said 45 minutes, probably get close to that.
Why are you whispering?
You're recording.
I can still hear you.
You want to send me the address? I'll go get the bricks.
Yes. Are you sure you don't want me to go?
Nah, it's fine. You stay here with Steve.
All right. I will. You know, I've made comments in the past about I do this gardening by myself, that he doesn't help me. And, you know, I really need to be more graceful in that, because the truth is he does do a lot of things that prevent me from having to, like going to pick up these bricks and helping me get the fence up. So he might not be in the dirt necessarily helping me plant the seeds and tending to them and harvesting, but he does things that certainly help the garden even be. So I'm thankful for that. I've learned in my life that we can spend a lot of time, particularly in marriage, being really disappointed about what we don't have rather than seeing what we do. When I turned off my camera there for a minute and sent my husband the address for the bricks, I checked my Facebook to see what some folks in this gardening group I'm in. I'm in a group on Facebook called Greenhouse and Gardens, and there's like 160,000 people. And I really do learn a lot there, and everyone is kind for the most part. But I wanted to find out if I needed to start over with these plants or if they were okay to be repotted and keep going. And so far, the comments have been to repot them deeper and just to keep them closer to the light. So that is what I'm gonna do. I was pretty inconsistent with doing that, with raising up my plants from being far from the grow lights, and it obviously did make a difference. These green beans that are so much longer, I'm actually gonna take them out of these 6-cell containers and put them straight into the cup before I even add any soil. Look at the roots. These are definitely root bound. I hope they're gonna work out. Much better. So yesterday, and I do have footage on this. I'm debating if I'm going to make a whole video about this, so you might get to hear this twice. But I dropped my girls off at co-op yesterday morning, and my neighbor called. He never calls me. So I knew something was wrong. And to be honest, I figured he was going to tell me that our guineas had been hit by a car because they keep going out to the road, and they're not very smart. And that's not what he wanted to say. So it's 9:30 in the morning, mind you, and he called to tell me that there was a fox in our front yard with a chicken in its mouth. So came home, and he had asked permission to come over with his shotgun and take care of the fox, and I said, please do. So he came over, and when he came over with his gun, of course, the fox saw him, took off into the woods with our chicken still in its mouth. So we knew he lost that one, but my question obviously was going to be like, how many more did we lose? So I came home to survey the scene, and I found 2 dead chickens in the yard. No blood or anything, so he just got them. I don't think it takes much, but some of the chickens were hiding in their coop. I didn't get any footage of that because, to be honest, I was just so focused on making sure I knew how many we had. I was trying to determine what our loss was and if the baby chicks were okay, because they were in a separate coop. They weren't out free ranging, obviously, and they were fine. Sunshine, which is our family's favorite chicken, I'm sure you've heard me talk about, she was actually okay, praise the Lord, and she was running from me. She was so scared. But we ended up losing 4 chickens. So I found the 2 in the yard, the one that we know the fox carried away. There's one that's unaccounted for. We thought we had lost 5, but several hours later after this incident happened, a chicken came just like meandering out of the bush in the front yard. So bless her, she was just hiding there and was so scared. So we are down to 11, and you know, my girls, when I told them, when I picked them up, their first question was, is Sunshine okay? That's their favorite, and she was. So they were still sad about what did happen, but we talked about, you know, part of this life with having all these animals is there's going to be loss, and we're not immune to that. And the truth is, we've been really, really fortunate to incur as little loss as we have over the last 2 years. We only ordered 15 chicks. We were sent 18. We've lost 3 over the last 2 years at different times. We believe a hawk got 2 of them at 2 different times, and we know a fox got another one morning. But so not too bad. And anyway, it's part of it, and it's so hard. So now we've decided that we're not going to be letting the chickens out to free range unless our dog is out. We don't have a livestock guardian dog that stays outside all the time as a working dog. We have our pet dog, who is an Australian Shepherd Poodle Golden Retriever mix. I think they call that like a Australian Mountain Doodle. He's a good boy. Steve's fantastic. And just from him being out there, foxes stay away. We haven't seen any. So when he's outside, the chickens can be out. So they're out free ranging now, and he's outside. But I was really surprised that a fox came out in the daytime. And I was talking with a friend, and it really just seems to make the most sense that this time of year is their breeding season. So as foxes are laying eggs, are having their babies, the moms are desperate to feed them. So my guess is this was a mother fox that came out to look for food for her baby, and she took one that we know of back to the den. I'm assuming she got that other one, and I'm guessing she was going to come back for the 2 dead ones I found in the yard. She probably came back to look for them last night, but of course we bagged them up yesterday morning. They were gone. So it was a sad morning around here. Not what I expected to do on my Friday morning, but that's what happens. Our coop is really predator proof. We did a pretty good job to secure it. My husband buried hardware cloth and made an apron around it, so like 6 inches out from the coop and down into the ground so that you can't burrow underneath it and get inside, and it has worked. So I pray over those little ladies all the time, and thankful for what we've got from them. But it was hard. I follow Jessica over at Roots and Refuge Farm. I'm sure many of you who follow me also follow her. She is fantastic and so inspiring. And she posted a video yesterday about, it was titled, "Our System is Broken." I'll tag her that in this. But I have really been inspired after listening to that and just pondering what she said. I agree with every single point that she made, but she was talking about, you know, she uses the phrase real food a lot. saying that she feeds her family real food. Actually, I think her motto is we eat mostly nutritious food that mostly tastes good, and I really like that. We do that for the most part. I mean, last night we had Papa John's pizza, so let's not get it twisted. We're not purists over here, but I cook from scratch a lot, and I really learned how to start making a lot of things that we would buy at the store that had ingredients in them that would not really be good for our body. Things like taco seasoning, and I make my own mayonnaise now, and salad dressing, and baking bread instead of store-bought bread. So just little things along the way. But anyway, she had posted about real food, and someone left a comment saying that, you know, well, what about the marginalized? And Jessica just did a really good job of explaining her thoughts about it. And, you know, yeah, it's true that those who live in poverty and are poor might not have access or means to even grow their own food or buy more expensive options. And they're honestly often targeted with fast food and convenience foods, and it's really quite sad, honestly. And she was talking specifically about seed oils and hydrogenized oils, and how, you know, you may go through a fast food restaurant and order a burger and they say, do you want cheese on that? And the truth is you're not even getting real cheese. It's likely vegetable oil that's been colored to look like cheese. And, you know, heart disease has really risen with the introduction of these types of oils. And even something like butter that's in your refrigerator that you may take for granted, like that it's actually real butter, it might not be. And I just really was thinking a lot about what she said. And I have family members that, you know, think that they're just real judgy about how we live our life, because I am more selective about what I feed my children, and I don't want them drinking Gatorade and eating a bunch of candy. And we really are aware, try to be, of what we put into our body. I ask them every day if they've had something raw. And, you know, this season right now, of course, we don't have a lot growing in the garden because I'm so new at this. I haven't gotten to the point where I have food growing continuously. I hope to get there someday. But, you know, when the summer comes and green beans and cucumbers and tomatoes and ground cherries and all of that is growing, then they will be eating straight from the garden too. But I got off topic. But what I was saying is, I don't know that a lot of people know the dangers of what they put into their body. And I think until we can get a hold of truth and help educate and inform people with the choices that they can make, they can't do better. And we have been conditioned to live in this society where counting calories is better than reading ingredients. And I don't agree with that. I kind of feel like that's all a bunch of bull, honestly. And we're so fixated on, well, how many calories is it? But where are those calories coming from? What you're putting into your body, is it synthetic or was it a real food? And, you know, we try to live by the rule, if there's an ingredient that I can't pronounce, it's not good for me, and I don't need that. So, and you know, have to be really careful, because a lot of the names of things have changed over the years. I think canola oil is one of those, and I can't remember what it used to be called and what it's called now. But marketing is sneaky, you guys. So, and I mean that with like sincere love, that, you know, empower yourselves to learn and to ask questions and to not just trust the system, because it is broken. I 100% agree with her. So go watch that video if you haven't. I'm gonna go get some more soil because my little bucket is empty. Sure, I'm not the only person you follow on YouTube, which I really hope I'm not. I follow a lot of other people too, and I've actually heard some people on YouTube and some farmers that I know in real life. Thank you, baby. We can just set them.
I just got a whole bunch of
right here. Do they all have holes in them?
I think. I don't know.
I actually need some that don't have holes. Can you guys see if there are any without holes?
Sure.
Thank you. A lot of farmers that I have talked to say that they prefer to start everything from seed and transplant seedlings out to the garden. And I'm not gonna lie, I am starting to understand why that is, because the beauty of putting out a transplant is you can see exactly where you're putting it. You know it's gonna germinate. You can get your spacing right. So I'm really thinking long and hard about that. Because again, I only started cucumbers and green beans and zucchini and melon seeds in the sunroom because I was gonna sell some of them. But I'm thinking I might save some of these seedlings for myself to put out into the garden,
This
because
is the only one that doesn't have any holes.
though that's the only one that doesn't have holes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Picked up bricks from someone, from a friend, actually someone that used to live in this house before me, which is super cool. And he also had like 40 of these black seed starting trays that he gave me. And I sent my daughter out to get one and did not realize that they all have holes in them, which is fine. I'll still find a use for them, but for bottom watering, it's really nice to have the ones without the holes. So I'm untangling these roots here from these 2 cucumber plants that were in the same pot. I started 2 seeds in the same one because you never know if germination is going to be 100%. And it was in that case. It actually was the case in this cell too. But then no germination in these 3. These even smell like cucumbers already. Especially the soil. I'm guessing it's the seed. It's so cool to me. And then this tray, same variety, 100% germination in all 6 cells and 2 in this one. This variety did not germinate at all. This was Russian pickling. If you saw my seed starting video where the girls and I planted these were saved from cucumbers we grew last year, and I did not know that when you seed save, it's not quite as simple as just taking out the seed and saving it. Things like cucumbers and peppers that I've learned personally now, they have to fully ripen. So the cucumbers should have been yellow before I ever harvested the pepper before I saved the seed. So a yellow cucumber, the seed set full maturity, saving the seed, it would germinate. These were just from some cucumbers that I took off the vine. I don't remember if they were yellow, obviously they weren't, but none of them germinated. I actually planted 2 6-cell trays of those and they did not germinate at all. And there's no sign of germination on the inside, so I'm dumping the soil out to reuse. So I got done, and I thought I was done, and I was wrong. I have this entire container of tomato plants that I realized I never repotted a few weeks ago when I did this because I ran out of solo cups. So, gotta do that today. And I recruited a helper. You enjoy this time lapse while we get some work done. seriously, I cannot get over how many plants I have in here. Holy moly. Well, I'm gonna go get some water to water these, and I'll just say this. I've been addicted to worse things in my life. Thank you for hanging out with me today. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.